All right, folks, this video is a little different than your normal programming. Lots of different projects. Yes, a giant trident made with traditional tools, some mass-produced tridents. Yes, these are tridents, not pitchforks. Go Mariners. If you don't know what that is, we'll get into that later. We have some barbecue, grill scrapers, other projects. It's kind of unique, right? So this is a little bit longer intro than normal. Really, I wanted to make some projects for my kids' team, and I had some other ideas. And over the years, the tools have expanded, the skills have expanded. So it's really a hodgepodge of a bunch of different projects. And so whether you're just doing this as a hobby, making something for a kids' team, doesn't have to be baseball, doesn't have to be a Trident, some applications, or maybe you're trying to do some side hustle, make some trophies, some awards, grow your business. Learning about some of these tools. Lasers, CNCs are involved, but also traditional tools as well. Lots of little tips throughout. Use the timestamps if so inclined. But here you go, hodgepodge of Trident projects. Go Mariners, Tridents up. So the idea, specifically using the lasers or a CNC, could certainly apply to baseball, right? You could do the shape of a baseball bat instead. You could do a hammer if your team's like a Thor hammer sports team, right? There's other applications, fishing pole, loads. But the reason Trident, Seattle Mariners baseball team, home run celebrations have been a big thing in recent years, and so the Mariners, like you see here, they hoist the Trident up after a home run, and my kids' team, they had that tradition continue as well, both for our team mascot and also. So yes, there are Tridents engraved with the laser on these. These were cut with a CNC, and then the big one that you saw in that thumbnail, it was made with traditional tools. So first up, just want to show you how to make a big Trident if you're interested. If you don't care about traditional tools or that Trident, you can skip on ahead to the other things. But first up, giant Trident.
So the wood I used for this project was some hard maple. I had this really, really long piece of some really, really nice maple. I just cut it to size and then went ahead and used some Titebond 2 to clamp it up and glue. I just went with a rough shape of what looked like as far as the distance. No real measurements here, just kind of eyeballed it. And then clamped it up, let it sit, and then got back to the sketch work. So just kind of, eyeballed, again, what looked well, what looked good. I did get it flat first. I could have sent this through the drum sander or the planer to get it perfectly flat, but I was content with just some 80 grit sanding and some turbo mode here and got it pretty flat, and then I could start working on the design. You certainly could print a template from online and then use some spray adhesive and attach it to the wood to kind of follow that. You could even make a template, out of some thin MDF and then do some trim routing to get a perfect shape, which is kind of what I started doing here. I'm just using an up spiral bit, a 1/4 inch bit here in this trim router to kind of follow in freehand. And then I thought I was going to flush trim the bottom, but then I just changed my mind. I thought it was going to be a little too sketchy to pull off, a little bit too tricky. So then I just went to the jigsaw. You could do the jigsaw just from the get-go and just do the whole thing with a jigsaw. You could even use a bandsaw as well. It's just a little bit, almost lost the router there. Anyway, kind of finessed the shape, got what I wanted, went back with the router a little bit. But really where this kind of started to get a little bit more elevated was using the handheld planer to kind of taper off all those prongs of the Trident. And so this is not a tool I use all the time, but it's really affordable. And when I need it, it really does come in handy. All the tools, blah, 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 are down below if you're so interested. Benchtop sanders are huge. This one I've had, 7, 8 years. And this is just so helpful. I've used it a lot for serving boards, charcuterie boards, but really helpful, especially for that interior there. Saved me a lot of work, right? To rapidly get it all sanded and kind of finesse that shape how I wanted. All right, so the handle itself, I'm using a giant 1/2 inch shank round over. I think this is like a 1 inch radius, and this really just ate through the maple, and this is a powerful bit, right? You definitely want this on a router table, but I got a really good curve, and then I switched over to a smaller round over bit. Of course, got to bring out the dust blower. I rolled everything outside because this makes a lot of dust for sure. But then the sanding, got some dust collection hooked up, so not too bad here. But lots of refining the shape. This benchtop unit can switch over to a spindle sander, which is always so handy. Saves you some time. But inevitably, you're going to pull out, the random orbital. Just a lot of shaping just to kind of get it how you want. I did have some issues, with the wood I used here. Originally, I did think I was going to paint it gold, which is what my kid wanted to do, but then I'm like, no, natural wood. Got to go natural wood. But lots of sanding. Got my son to help out. He has been a huge helper, honestly, since he was probably 3. He was helping in the shop, and he's just done so much, and he's actually learned quite a bit. And so it's always fun to do projects with him, to take, ideas from him and his brothers as far as what to do. But this was for him, for his team, so I made sure that he got to do a lot to help out, and so he did, and he's pretty good at sanding, which I'm okay with because I don't really love sanding. But anyway, then we brought out the lasers. Yes, lasers, to use our little logo for our league. And so this is a new laser. I'll show a little bit of some other lasers later, but really handy, really nice, adds a nice touch. And then went with some finish. Just used some furniture butter here, walrus oil. It's just a quick finish. Again, this was a rush job. It was it had already glued up previously, but did the whole thing in just one evening. And this finish, it just put it on, leave it for a day, and then buff it in the next day. You can do multiple coats for sure, but it's a nice finish. It's easy. It's easy to apply, and so then of course use the excess to just kind of freshen up that tabletop. Good stuff. So let it sit, and then eventually buffed it off the next day. But, it's just some beautiful colors there. It's maple, it's hardwood, and it is sturdy. This thing is heavy duty, and it's not going to break. And there you go, right? Hoisting it up into ear. You can see the kids celebrating. This was a walk-off homer.
So for that one, we went with traditional tools. Obviously, you could have just used the jigsaw or the bandsaw. It's kind of a little long and awkward, so I kind of went about a different way, a couple different ways. But as far as these other projects, I have accumulated some awesome tools through the years, which I'm really blessed with. And so the CNC is awesome for doing all kinds of projects. You can see some old videos on there. Haven't done as much CNC this last year, but just a great way to really quickly batch these out. And then, of course, all these new laser machines that you've seen a lot of videos to do some engraving or to do some deeper engraving. And so some possibilities here. If you don't have a CNC and you just have the lasers, you could certainly pull off this project, whether it's a Trident or whatever, just multiple layers of wood glued together. That's an option. Other options. But let's go into these, how I went about making these little mini Tridents. Kids used them like trophies. Or these grill scrapers and possibilities with the grill scrapers. So some mass production project.
All right, so the CNC it's a robot, right? It is pretty awesome how it works. There is a fair amount involved with the software, but you'll learn it. You can learn it pretty quickly. I have a lot of old videos in the last couple years where I did a lot more CNC projects, but it opens up some new possibilities to do, hardwoods and thick woods. But, if you're looking for an easy application, laser's a little bit quicker to get started. But here we go, making a bunch of little mini Tridents here, maximizing the space, cuts it out cleanly, and then doing some of these grill scrapers. You can definitely do this without one of these machines. You can make a template and then do some flush trim routing, or use a bandsaw, use a scroll saw, and cut all these shapes out. It's not too bad. And actually, it's not too bad. This is actually me six years ago, doing a bunch of these grill scrapers just with the bandsaw. And so I went ahead and I printed a template, and then I cut it out with a bandsaw with a thinner blade, cleaned it up on that sander, little bit of router work, and there you go. And so this project is definitely possible if you don't have a CNC or a laser cutter. It's fun. I love doing these grill scrapers. You just get painter's tape. It's not necessary, but putting a little template with spray adhesive, some router work. I used oil on these. I don't really recommend mineral oil. I've learned since then. cool colors. But anyway, the idea is still there even if you don't have a CNC. All right, well, I have a CNC. I cut it out with the CNC, and then I'm using the bandsaw to remove these pieces. You can use a CNC to cut all the way through and do tabs. I usually just cut it most of the way through, and then I kind of just trim it out, and then I use a flush trim bit to clean it up, even on these little 1/8 inch passes where I get a lot more detail. There are really small 1/8 inch flush trim bits, but that's just usually how I do my CNC work. But it is possible, so it might look like, well, it's more work. It can be. There's lots of other ways to approach this. But anyway, I cut all the stuff out on the CNC, and then I kind of trimmed it on the bandsaw, and now I'm doing that flush trim work here at the router table, and I just have to remove maybe about a 1/4 inch on the bottom, and then I have this perfect uniform shape. It definitely is easier and more efficient than the other way, but the other way is also possible. Then I'm doing some roundovers here. Doing, a roundover is just nice, classy look. You can see I have this really giant face mask thing. This is a new power cap shield. This one's not sponsored at all, but if you're looking for an awesome dust mask thing that's not going to fog up, that's good with a beard, this is awesome, and it's a face shield. You can check it down below. This is pricey. Again, I'm not getting any deals on it, but I love it. It's awesome. You can check that out down below. All right, router table. Switching out to different router bits, doing some more round overs, just really helps with the feel of it. Again, these kids are going to be holding these Tridents. They're going to be hoisting them. Got to have a good grip on them. But anyway, different size router bits depending on the size you got. I use a large one. Here, I'm actually going to use a really small one. So this mini little router bit is so clutch on these tight radiuses, these tight corners. I really love this one. It's a slim profile, so this is not to be salesy. It just genuinely is a really helpful one. But there are links down below if you want to use. Get that one. All right. Anyway, router table, router lifts. If you're new to woodworking, you don't need to have a fancy router lift. I used just a flat sheet of plywood with this little homemade router table. Used it for years. Great results. So you don't have to get all fancy. Or you can with lasers. Lasers are fun. Anyway, going ahead and doing the kids' names, their number, the logo on each one. Quick work here. You could make a jig to make this a little bit easier, but there's alignment features that are just as easy. So anyway, we got everything engraved, and then we went back and did a little bit more sanding. Here's my little dude who's not so little anymore, doing all kinds of sanding. Normal progressions for any piece that we do is usually 80 grit, then 120 grit. Sometimes we'll do like a 150 or a 180 before a 220. But here we're using our surf prep system. This one is crazy. There's no hand sanding. I don't have to do hand sanding anymore, which is so nice. Sometimes you do, but there's other options like here. I can offset with their foam pads, and I can get inside. The foam pads are huge. You don't lose those roundovers that you get. They're great for juice grooves on cutting boards, but they have these little backer pads, or you can get the other one, like this one here, which is just their pro foam and the different grits. So helpful. I love it. Like, I don't dread sanding like I used to. So anyway, if you're looking for a good upgrade on sanding system, I love this. I went ahead and bought their dust collector as well. So it's a whole separate unit. It's amazing. I have virtually no airborne dust. Sometimes in weird applications I do, but there's links down below. Yes, this one now is an affiliate. Now I do partner with them, but you get a good discount if you use our code, and supports the channel if so inclined. But anyway, sanding. All right, we're sanding, again, the 80 grit, 120, 150. On these grill scrapers, you can see kind of the shape. I went ahead and I cut them out with the shape of the Trident, kind of a little bit larger, and then after sanding them, we're going to go ahead and engrave them. So here we're switching over to the P2 laser. This is our giant desktop laser. This one's my favorite because you can do so much. All of the lasers are amazing for different applications, but this one can do a lot. Again, you can check out other laser videos I have to learn. But anyway, went ahead and did the Trident logo on the grill scraper with the coach name. Here I'm cutting it at an angle, 45-degree angle, so it works as a grill scraper. And then go ahead, sand, 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 sand. So I went with a deeper engraving. Needed to remove some of the char. I just went with a deeper engraving. I love the look. I think it really worked well, especially the ash. Baseball bats are made from ash. I think that really stood out well. Did some cherry, some maple as well. Just using the air compressor here just to spray out any dust. As far as finish, you could do just about anything you wanted. I thought about doing a lacquer. I just didn't have time. So I went back to that same finish from earlier. I did not give this the 24 hours. I just did a quick, we had to go to the game. We literally did this an hour before their last game of the season. And so it was quick, but it brings out all those natural colors. We applied it, and just beautiful, beautiful natural colors. I would probably prefer, if it's going to be handled a lot, to do a couple coats. On the grill scrapers, you honestly don't need any kind of wood finish for them. I just went ahead and did it. I think it looks nice. But anyway, this is a great option as opposed to when I used to do the grill scrapers years ago with mineral oil, which never really cures. Anyway, this walrus oil furniture finish is really great. It's some great stuff. All right, after it's sat for a little bit, then we dried it off, buffed it on in. It's a good, decent finish. It's actually a really good finish. A couple coats would have been better, but one coat was sufficient. So, done. They're great. So in the shop lighting, not the natural lighting where you really see that beautiful wood grain and different colors, even ash, even maple, there is a beautiful color to the wood. But, fun little project here. It kind of looks like a fork, a giant little fork, but they're Tridents. I did make the shape a little bit not as long. I just figured that would be a little bit better. But anyway, grill scraper, got that angle. You just run it on the grill like so, and then you're good to go. But kind of fun. But the kids loved them. It was really great way to end the season, especially because the Trident was such a big part of our season. Lots of exciting games this year. All right, here I'm using the laser just to do another fun little project with this whole idea. Can make little dog tags. This takes no work, no time at all. Super fast. It's even got an automatic conveyor here to do. Then you can use the jig here to do personalization, do the kids' names and all that. So this is just another little idea if you're doing this for a sports team, whether it's your team or you want to monetize and do a little side hustle and take some orders for local teams. I mean, Little League, every city has Little League, right? Little League is everywhere. So some ideas here. Anyway, kind of cool little dog tag necklace. Here showing that batch processing on the conveyor again. Here's some walnut wood keychains, little nice Coach SVG file here. Pretty easy, pretty simple. I have other videos that talk about this process, specifically this new conveyor and how cool it is and efficient. So if you're looking to, maybe expand and do some side hustle and do a business and do custom orders, maybe take that Trident idea, turn it into an award and maybe a plaque, maybe vertical, lots of possibilities here. Anyway, ideas. Now, since we're talking about lasers, I just want to really quickly show what lasers can do. I've done lasers for 1 year. 1 year, no experience, and here are some of the projects that I've made using lasers. I've made a ton of things. I've made thousands of items. Yes, all of this chess set, including the pieces, everything I made on the lasers. Different signs. It can cut acrylic. It can cut wood. It can cut all kinds of things. You can paint it. So possibilities are pretty endless, and it's just a really cool era with all of the making possibilities of what you can do at home. I've done all this in my garage here, even some AI sports images here. You can engrave anything you want. So the possibilities are pretty endless. All of these things could be run in your home. You don't need to have a wood shop. This is that new laser that I showcased. Amazing, pretty cool. It can even do deep engraving in metal, coins like this with this new F1 Ultra. And spoiler alert, this is a new video I haven't shown yet, deep engraving in ceramic. So I hope to showcase this a little bit more in the future. But other possibilities with lasers.
And there you have it, a unique assortment of projects, different ideas. Maybe it helped, hopefully it did. Again, possibilities extend to beyond just the Trident. That just works for us here up in Mariner Land. If this video provided value and you want to see similar videos, please consider subscribing to see more videos like this, more laser, more CNC, more traditional tools. I can check back and see those old videos. If you are interested in lasers, this season of life, I haven't gotten to do as much woodworking projects, especially longer ones just with my kids and life. The lasers have been really helpful with that because my kids are involved. They can do things, they can help on the design, and it's quick. I can leave it running, multitask, and so lots of different lasers. You can check my channel to see the other ones and see the differences, but if you're interested in purchasing lasers or learning more, I can check out this QR code or the links down below with some great deals. really, really amazing, the possibilities of what you can make, and obviously customize and engrave. You can engrave just about anything with all these different types of lasers. You can check those out. Anyway, quite a bit. It was random, but you know, it was fun. It was a fun project, and I wanted to share it somehow, some way, like here. So thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.